Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here at The H, an honest conversation about health, hemp, and happiness. I am Brandon, the CEO of Delight Cafe, Delight Network, and just everything that else I do because I'm told I'm busy. My wonderful associate over here, shut up, Joe, I saw that face. My wonderful associate over here, Mr. Joe. Joe, we call him Fuck Joe. Joe, why do we call you Fuck Joe?
I would love to know.
Funny. We call Joe Fuck Joe because Joe decided that at one point in my life that I was going to trust him to make me the best me by helping find the foods and that in my house. And he decided to hide my Oreos and throw them away. And when I knew I didn't want to let go of my Oreos yet, so I had to understand he was doing it to help me become a better me. So fuck Joe, I think he's not doing anything wrong and I need to be mad at myself. Every time I see his name, I'm reminded of the fact that I have to not eat Oreos or McDonald's or anything like that ever again. And it's kind of worth it. So, kind of. So, Joe, talk to me about, man, how you doing? You've been busy. You've been running around a lot lately getting your physical training and like Molly dealership going and all that.
Yeah, we have a huge inventory on one of them, not the other. A lot of cars, used cars. No, things are good. Just trying to pay forward the way I help you with others, and started taking on clients now to where I'm focused on their mental health, their fitness. It's all digital, so with COVID, obviously a lot of people are working out at home. So trying to help them save money by getting as little equipment as they can and getting the most out of it. And I'm just really not big on this extreme diet fad thing. So just trying to educate and teach people just overall healthy way of eating and that they can still enjoy themselves a little bit, but they got to work a little hard for at least a month before they earn that respect from me to be able to have that cheat meal. But it's been going good. I've been getting more clients and they're getting results.
I actually am a client of Joe's. And honestly, Joe is an inspiration that a lot of people should want to follow. And he doesn't do any social media because he knows how difficult it is to handle people. And the truth is Joe gets out there and he's all about, positivity and believing in yourself, and he wants you to find that in yourself. And what's cool about it is Joe sends me a list of inspirational videos I have to listen to every day, send him a text message about it and what it was about, and that can be 1 sentence to 3. He has a list of food items I'm allowed to eat and not eat in a month, and I tell him what I'm looking for, and he then helps me make sure I push after it and all that. Hello, everybody. Son of the Sea, Jacqueline Rodriguez. Hello, hola. So we are here today, and Joe and I are excited to be here. Joe looks forward to every Wednesday. He calls it his hemp day of the week. Nope, doesn't call it that at all. I just wanted to see his face. I actually have a guest in the background, I see. Let me bring someone in to say hello really quick and give a big hi, and then we're going to bring our guest of the evening on, Miss Amanda Webster, and I'll read her bio in a second. Stay by, guys. And Mr. Brett Gordon, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
What up, Brett? How you doing, buddy?
Excellent. I just, I kind of heard about what Amanda was going to be talking about and stuff, and I thought it would be an amazing show to kind of tune into and follow and hear what's going on.
I love it. Brett's like, I'm going to sneak in the backstage and get to meet this Amanda girl before everything goes live. I love it. Brett, I'm more than happy to have you on here with us, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to read Amanda's bio. So this was Amanda stood on a ledge of a Canadian hotel ready to end her life. A song was playing at the right place at the right time that brought her out and brought me down and made a pact with herself. She was going to give it all for 1 year. She still felt the same desolation after that, she would give up and jump. The only problem was that I had no idea where to start. I'd seen counselors, taken medications, journaled, even read as many books and self-help books as my brain could handle. I hope you like me reading your bio like this, because I'm watching you in the background laugh and smile at me messing up words. Having majored in mind-body wellness practitioner at the award-winning Southwest Institute of Healing Arts in 2011, with a specialty in holistic nutrition, I finally concluded that it was the time to get back to basics. It wasn't about salad and taking yoga classes or reading a book. It was about reconstructing the Amanda within. My lifestyle, my way of thinking, my way as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amanda Webster.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today.
Hello. How are you? Oh, Stovetop Yum Yum says hello right away. We got to say hi to her. So how are you, Miss Webster? It's great to have you on.
I am doing pretty darn awesome today. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Brett, you're going to be here. You're going to talk, or I'm going to put you backstage. You're the interview.
All right. Well, no, I'm excited to hear about this because, you know, I work with people as well to try to help them through leadership challenges. And I always say that the first person that we have to lead is me, myself, and I. And then we can lead teams and we can lead businesses and so forth. And we all run into challenges throughout life and business and so forth. And Brandon and I actually do a show where we provide tools to people, because one of the biggest challenges and one of the reasons maybe that, you know, you get to this level of frustration that you think about very drastic things is because you have a limited number of tools to actually work and deal with the different situations that we have in life. So that's what I'm here for. I'm really looking forward to hearing your story and how you were able to really change things around for yourself.
Thank you so much. And I love that you're talking about how, you know, connecting with other people helps us connect with ourselves too, that we can't, you know, everybody says you can't help others if you can't help yourselves. And that's so very true. But at the same time, connecting with other people during that process is a huge step. And for me, you know, continuing my outreach and stuff during that time, even when I wasn't feeling perfect, really helped me. And they've actually proved that, you know, kindness and outreach like that improves your mood. It helps with depression, anxiety, and blood pressure.
Absolutely.
I have a question about that, just because I like to just go right into it.
Yay, questions.
So a lot of people who are dealing with these social anxieties, with just feeling completely empty, it is important to get out. But the thing is, a lot of those people are like empathetic people like myself. And when you get out in public and you start doing things like that, some people take advantage of it very easily and all that. How can people put boundaries up to protect themselves when they're in that state of mind?
Are you talking about in public or with friends or just in general?
In general. So you're not like out at the grocery store and all of a sudden this hot girl starts talking to me and I'm like this depressed guy who's engaged. I shouldn't even use this as an example, but it helps with my example. And I, instead of like joining and jumping on and being best friends with someone new, because that's what I'm known for. I can walk into a room and everybody is my best friend. But like the person that doesn't see me as actually the good guy, they see me as someone they can get stuff with, usually is the person I become best friends with. And I don't know why. And I'm trying to fix that. And you've done a lot of great things. I could have read another a little bit of your bio, but I wanted you to come on and be able to tell us, how do you help people be able to keep going and keep themselves motivated? What would you tell me if I was the one that was broken right now, wanting helping people out there?
Well, I'm going to touch on the first part first, because I know a lot of people do have issues with that, of going out and connecting with people and knowing how to set boundaries. And I actually have a really good friend like that she has such a good heart and I love her dearly, but she has no idea how to set boundaries for other people. So people tend to take advantage of her because she just has such this genuinely happy, compassionate soul. And for me, number one, I had to really start literally every time I had interactions with people for a while, I had to go, this is my intention with this outing. This is my intention with this person. I really had to continuously set intentions, and I'm not going to lie, for a while it was kind of exhausting, but it really helped me in the long run to know, okay, I'm not going to the grocery store to connect and make friends. And I wasn't shut down to being kind to other people, but you have to know kind of what it is you're looking for, what it is you should be expecting. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to end up connecting with a whole bunch of people that take advantage of you. Thank you so much, Stovetop Yum Yum. I saw Son of the Sea was saying, nice to see another Linkin Park fan. So someone remembered that was the song. It was Breaking the Habit that brought me down off of the ledge. Hola, Jacqueline. ¿Cómo está usted? I'm just now learning a little bit of Spanish. So, but yeah, it's really difficult for me to say, what you would say to everybody, because it really depends on the person that would be talking to me. I really want to make sure that every person that interacts with me kind of gets personalized attention. However, I think that if there's one message I have to say to people, it's your shadow. That's what I call, the darkness in me, my depression or whatever. That shadow is going to tell you all sorts of shit, just all sorts of shit. It's going to tell you that you're worthless. It's going to tell you that you're stupid and you're ugly and you're not a good mom and you're not a good friend, blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. And you have to find a way to overcome that dialogue. You have to find a way to really reconnect with yourself, be it through affirmations, be it through, engaging in different activities. You have to find a way to overcome that, because it's really silly when you stop to think about it, that people think one person is more valuable than another person, or one person matters more, is more important. Because at the end of the day, let's think about it. Adriana Lima, who's one of the highest paid models in the world, has been cheated on. Does that make her unattractive and less worthy? Of course it doesn't. It means that she was with an asshole. And I think that once we see that every person has inherent value and one person isn't more valuable than the other, then we can start seeing our own value. Are some people assholes? Absolutely. But maybe there's a reason that they're an asshole. Maybe they're dealing with their own, trauma. That doesn't mean you have to engage in it, but you can hold space and say, you know what, this person's going through their own stuff too. But yeah, really connecting to that humanity that is in all of us, that inherent value that's in all of us.
I love it. I'm sorry, I got to click this because I know you're going to see it and want to say your story really was. So your first time you were on the Morning Brew with us, you literally came on and just had so much fun. So tell us about that night. Breaking the Habit, Linkin Park is a good part of it, and it really does connect because Chester Bennington had the health issues of mental health issues as well. So it fits perfectly for being able to help break someone off that edge. Tell us about your story a little bit.
So I ended up there after years and years of clinical depression. I'd been struggling with clinical depression for probably about a decade and a half. I'd self-harmed. I went through a cocaine addiction. I'd utilized different tools, good and bad, obviously, to deal with this immense pain that I felt inside. And I was in that Canadian hotel room, and I'd actually gone to Canada. My friend had bought me tickets to a Justin Timberlake concert. And crazy enough, this is insane, it was cheaper for that friend to buy me tickets to the concert in Canada and buy me a flight and hotel to Canada than it was to get tickets for the local Justin Timberlake concert. And it was a gift for my wedding. It was a wedding gift at the time. Aww. So they ended up flying me there. And I was already just feeling at rock bottom. I had a lot of life circumstances going on that just, I was really low. And this was kind of, I'm going here to escape all of the shit in my life. Just have this one little minute of teenage fantasy, where I can gush and ooh and swoon over Justin Timberlake. Because I was obsessed when I was 13. When NSYNC was at their peak, oh yeah, I was gonna marry him. I was gonna marry him. And I ended up, I had the stage bar, so I was supposed to be right next to the stage. And I'm not going to lie, he was an asshole. And it just destroyed this fantasy in my mind. And I'm not going to say Justin Timberlake was the reason I wound up on that ledge, but it was just, I came here to escape. My teenage fantasy was just crushed. The little coping mechanism I had was just kind of spit on, I felt. And everything in my life just culminated. And I remember I kind of just climbed up there at first to go, okay, we're just gonna look, we're just gonna see how this feels for a minute. But once I got up there, I just went, I can't do this anymore. I absolutely can't do this anymore. And I was standing there, I was looking down. And this is the interesting thing, is most people say that suicide is such a selfish decision, and fuck those people first and foremost. But I remember looking down and I was thinking, first of all, I hope this doesn't hurt because I don't want to hurt anymore. And secondly, I was thinking, this is what's best for my son. This is what's best for all my friends. They don't deserve to deal with me anymore. They don't deserve to have to deal with this anymore. And I was looking down and my fingers were literally slipping off of the window ledge, because I kind of had the window ledge and my fingers were just slipping, and I was leaning forward. And had that song not come on at that exact minute, at that exact second in time, I would have jumped. And it was, the weirdest part about that is, I'm not really a believer in anything, but the weirdest part about that is that I was in the middle of the hallway of my hotel. I was in the middle of the hallway, so it's not like I was by an elevator, by the end where you would think maids would start or housekeepers would start. I was right in the middle, but they had apparently just started right outside my room, had decided that they were going to start cleaning, and they turned on their music on this little stereo. I didn't even notice. I thought I was hallucinating. I hear the song and I'm going, no, I'm hallucinating right now. This is my life playing before me, and of course it has Linkin Park as a theme song. And I literally thought I was hallucinating. So I went out to the door and opened it, and I look out and see the cleaning crew, and I'm just going, this is so freaking weird. This makes no sense as to why the cleaning crew would be here right now in front of my door, number one. Number two, I had been there for several days at this point, and at no point did I see a cleaning crew, did I see workers, did I see anything like that? Nothing. So yeah, I had this little French interaction with them. I just said, c'est ma chanson préférée, this is my favorite song, and they said, ah bon, which means, oh really? And we just had this little brief interaction. They're looking at me like I'm insane, which I probably look like I've been on a 3-week heroin binge or something at this point, because I've just been crying in my room and eating McDonald's, like you were saying, not to eat, Brandon. And I don't now. I don't eat McDonald's now, but at the time it was just the Egg McMuffins. I got like 5 Egg McMuffins without the Canadian bacon, because I was vegetarian. I'm now full vegan, but I got the Egg McMuffins and was just mowing those down in my hotel room, crying my eyes out. So I definitely looked probably pretty shady. And I came back in to my room, and I literally just fell to my knees and fell apart. And I didn't know what to do. I knew that there was a reason it played. I knew that there was a reason I stepped down. I had no idea what that reason was, and I had no idea how I was going to keep going, but I knew that I couldn't go back out there. I couldn't jump.
I love it. Like, honestly, it's you're an inspiration, because you're inspiring people to get down off that ledge. Guys, do either of you guys have a question? Because I'll talk all night.
No, I'm pretty used to you doing that. I'm also a huge Linkin Park fan, but no, I mean, it's hard to have a question to a sincere story. I mean, she's telling a part of her life and opening up about it, and I think it's extremely inspiring to have somebody that's been in a dark place willing to talk about it, and willing to get even in the details of the situation. Most people are very brief when they talk about a horrible situation, and then they just kind of dismiss it. And I know we had another guest on, and that's kind of how I could tell when people have healed and began that process, is when they're able to be open and look at those wounds and they don't hurt so much anymore. So, good for you. And I'm sure us and many others are very happy you didn't, and you're here. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have kind of a question, because I work with people that, have those kinds of challenges. And I usually try to work through, a triad of things that really help to change people's state at the time. And you were in a very distraught state while you're standing up there, and then some things started to trigger a difference in your state, and that's kind of what brought you down. Then you hear the music, those types of things, or you heard the music and that brought you down. But you had talked about kind of having those voices behind you, and it's really getting to not focus on those voices, or to change the message those voices are kind of telling you, right? And that's what's brought you to where you are today. Your voices that are talking to you are not about the terrible situation you're in, but now to be able to take that terrible situation and help others, right? So what would you say would be kind of a great thing to do if people really are starting to contemplate that? Normally what I try to do is say, okay, first let's do something with your physiology. Let's get you out and walk, or let's get you to drink some water, because a lot of times when people are in that state, they're like totally dehydrated and their chemical balances are way off because of that too. So it's like chug a glass of water, breathe deeply, try to walk. And I know that, in a lot of cases that's very difficult when you're in that state of mind. But I kind of wanted to see if you had a little bit more insight into kind of what was going on from, either a physiological or your focus or the words that you were kind of using to choose the situation that you were in at the time.
Yeah, so the physiological, I want to say that it was kind of like a panic attack, only in reverse. Because when you panic, you're flooded with cortisol, you have that stress reaction, that fight or flight. And I was there, but at the same point, I was kind of the eye in the storm. I was at complete peace. At that moment, I went, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care if there's anything after this. I don't care if I burn in hell. I don't care. I don't want to feel this pain anymore. So that's where my mindset was. Physically, I was just pretty much numb. I had panicked so hard and cried so hard that I was just numb. I kind of had this tingling sensation. I love the idea of drinking water, because when I do have a panic attack, one of the things that I'll do is either I'll run my hands under cold water or I'll run my feet under really hot water, because you have to do something to snap your mind and your body back into reality. But if you are with the person, or you're able to communicate with the person, obviously in this situation you would be, I think the most important thing is letting them know that they're not invisible, validating their feelings instead of saying, well, you have so much to live for. You really just stop being stupid, And believe it or not, people say this shit. I'm not kidding you. Yeah. People say, well, you're just being ungrateful. This is ridiculous. You're selfish. Validate. You have to be in so much pain to be at this place. Because when you connect with that person, when you let them know, I see what you're going through right now. I see that this isn't selfish. Like, you are feeling pain, and we're going to figure out how to get you out of that pain. I promise I'm here. I'm going to help you figure it out. That's what that person wants to hear. We just want to know that we're not invisible. I wanted to feel like someone loved me. I wanted to feel like someone cared. I wanted to feel like there was hope on the other side. And I didn't want just someone to say, it's going to get better. You just need to step outside and do some yoga and, call your best friend. No. Those things can help, but there's also a much deeper thing to it, than that. Stovetop Yum Yum said, guardian angels were with you, in my opinion. My heart is happy you are here. Have chills right now. I was talking after, I was talking to someone after this situation, I think about a week later. And she knew that I'm not a believer, but she said, I think you had a guardian rock star that night, referring to Chester. And I don't know, what there is or how that works or any of that, but I did feel some kind of just comfort, a peace. I really felt peace. Today I felt terrible, ugly, unhappy, etc. And the truth is, it was for no reason. I have a blessed life, but feeling that scares me. Do you believe that could be a form of depression? You know what? Yes, it could be, but I think everyone gets to that point where you just feel like crap. You just feel like, I hate myself today. Everything sucks. It's pain on the wall. I hate the color of this room. Like, there are days, even without depression, when I am in the happiest.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to mention the color of the room.
It is a hideous color. I just want to put that out there. But there is that point where you just get kind of stuck in that mindset, and you're going, something either triggered it or didn't. Maybe, you had a fight with a friend. Maybe nothing at all happened. And it's just, there were times where I would literally think about my dog that got hit by a car when I was 16 years old. And I'd start to ruminate on, well, here's all the reasons why my life sucks now, and it could be triggered for seemingly absolutely no reason at all. And it can be a sign of depression. I always encourage people, to reach out if they think that they're having symptoms of a mental health disorder. Make sure that your life is in a state that encourages optimal mental health. I formulated my 5 puzzle pieces of happiness that takes people through the steps I went through to go from being on that ledge to being happy. That's just kind of a foundation for other people to be able to follow if you're really just wanting to have that optimal mental health. But yeah, it's totally normal. Even the happiest people have unhappy thoughts. The only difference is they don't ruminate on them. They don't let them go for days and days and days at a time. Having a bad day and feeling ugly and unhappy and unsatisfied, I think is pretty normal. And that's just when I go, okay, you know what? I'm going to step back right now and take this day for myself.
I agree.
That's when I binge watch Lucifer on Netflix.
Good show. Question. So you made a comment, the 5 puzzle pieces of happiness. Can you tell us what those are? And that way maybe we could share it for our listeners and all that. I'll make that the image so everybody can do that and find their 5 pieces of happiness, because that's a great title for this episode, is happiness, because that's what we want for people in this. And then I have another question after that, but go ahead.
Absolutely. So the first part is really just assessing yourself and learning what your strengths are, what you need to improve on, where you're at, where you want to be, because it's very easy. And I kind of got stuck in this rut to say, okay, I'm depressed and I want to be happy. What the hell does that really what does happiness even really mean? Because it's so different for other people. And it's also easy to get stuck in the rut of saying, my life sucks. How often do you hear people say, my life sucks right now? But does it really, just because this one category is off, how are the other categories? Because even in the darkest moments of my life, when my mom died, for example, and that's a huge hit. I mean, I spiraled hard, but I still had my friends there for me. I still had I was stable in my home. I mean, I wasn't great financially, but I wasn't homeless, so I had different interests that I was partaking in. So there were other parts of my life that I should have been, focusing on, saying, okay, these are the things that are going good. I need to grieve my mom, and that's normal and okay. But here's the strengths I have to get through it. I'm a great writer, so I could journal. That's something that I could do to get through it. I was always very self-aware of my emotions and stuff. So I knew this is what I have to do, to get through it. The second one is finding your fitness. So nobody wants to do circuits and run at the gym every day. Most people don't. I love running. I do. But I feel that with the Insta gurus and stuff, we kind of tend to just go, okay, well, if you're not running a mile and you're not doing all these crazy ass circuits, then you're not getting, the best out of your fitness. And there is so much out of fitness, out of physical, I'm going to say just, physical activity, not even fitness, screw fitness, physical activity. There's a lot of benefit. We know that. I mean, remember Elle Woods saying that exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't go killing their husbands. There's some truth to that. And learning how to incorporate that, even if you hate going to the gym, even if you're not going to do some circuit in your living room, learning to incorporate physical activity to suit you, that you actually enjoy bringing into your life. The other one is learning to emotionally eat the right way. I love food. I eat a lot of food. People wouldn't know that because I weigh about 105 pounds. But even before I started eating healthy, I really like to eat food. And I love comfort foods, But there is a very real connection. The brain is part of the body. And the vagus nerve goes from the brainstem down into what we know as the gut, the organs that we know as the gut. And if you're not eating, nutrient-rich foods, the vagus nerve is literally going to send signals from your gut, the organs associated with the gut, into your brain saying that something's wrong. If you're depriving yourself of a lot of different nutrients, it's going to show up as symptoms of anxiety and depression. So learning how to emotionally eat and eat in a way that's still pleasurable, but making sure that you're getting all of the nutrients that you need for optimal mental health. And one is cutting the crap. Learning what to eliminate. I skipped the 3 C's of sustaining happiness. The next is the 3 C's of sustaining happiness, and there's a reason that cutting the crap's last. But the 3 C's of sustaining happiness is learning when to use what coping mechanisms. So Brett was talking about, how do I know what to do in that crisis moment? How do I know what skills to utilize? Or how do I even know what my skills are, what are my options are, learning how to build a toolbox and then knowing which tool to use when, learning how to communicate your needs with people or communicate with other people is so, so, so crucial. We overlook that. We don't think about how important it is to be able to communicate with other people. And then the last one is cutting the crap, learning what to eliminate from your life that isn't serving you, that isn't serving your mental health, be this habits, mindsets, people. You thought of somebody when I said that. I know y'all did. I know every single one of you thought of somebody. That person needs to get the hell out of your life. But learning what to eliminate from your life just to reach that optimal mental health. And if you go to happinessboost.life, it gives you a summary of those 5 puzzle pieces just so you can kind of get an idea of them for yourself and get a little bit more detail. I am postmenopausal, maybe hormonal. That's actually very self-aware to know. Stovetop Yum Yum said that. I actually had a police officer say that to me, suicidal people only take the easiest way out, so I consider them cowards. It shocked me so much that I argued her into changing her mind. I am very glad that you were able to educate this police officer. And I do think that there's a huge issue with people in authority not understanding. And the unfortunate thing is, I don't believe that we should be eliminating police. Let me just put that out there. But there needs to be something else done for the people in mental health crisis. When somebody calls 911 and if whoever responds, that person has to be able to de-escalate and comfort the person, and give them hope and give them support and give them skills and not just put them in the back of a cop car and say, don't kill yourself. And you're a selfish piece of shit. That's awful. And I hate that, someone said that, especially someone in authority like that had authority like that.
I think that the thing is with that needs to be brought, like you said, you don't need to defund the police, but the police do need a little bit better training because mental health is on the rise, especially with the year that we just had. And I personally know, being a foster dad, that some of these areas we're sending social workers in with more mental health training to worse situations than we are certain times the police are getting involved and we're seeing about it. And that's not saying the police are bad. Please know that is not what we're saying. They play a vital role. But having a better understanding of mental health issues, how to handle it, sometimes Joe is phenomenal at this. I will go off the handle at something stupid. And he stays calm and says, hey, B, so what's really the point of your anger right now? And he resets me to make me have to see it. Like, he makes me have to talk it out. But if I'm having one of those episodes and someone who is an authority figure, whether it's a police officer to a principal at a school like I used to have to deal with, they didn't respond in a calm way, I keep going until I win that debate. And that's how some people are. And I know that's not a healthy thing, and I had to learn how to change that mindset. But there's a lot of people that didn't and don't, and they don't even know they're doing it. And having proper training would teach people those separations, that difference, and why we need better mental health training all around.
If you want to see those people, just check out the comment section of literally any social media, and you'll see those people that will fight their point to the death. And I'm sitting there going, bro, I have never met a single person that has said, you know what? You really changed my point of view with that Facebook post. I am so glad that you debated me on Facebook for 4 hours. Had any of you 3 ever heard a single person say, man, I really changed my entire worldview because of that Facebook post?
Nope.
And that's kind of where I go, is there's a difference between what Son of the Sea was saying about, just offering a different viewpoint. No matter what that is, religiously, for me, it's veganism. I'm very passionate about animal rights, mental health rights. I'm really, passionate about sharing that with people. But there's a difference between saying, hey, have you considered this point of view? And then going off on this whole, well, you know what? Because you eat corpses every night, you're a terrible, horrible human being, and screw you. There's a big difference there between saying, hey, have you considered the mental health implications? Or have you considered, the ethical implications, the environmental implications, or whatever you think that person wants to hear? There's a difference between educating and just being a dick. And closed-minded.
That's true. I see Brett licked his lips. Does that mean you've got a question? Because I'm ready. Yeah, I keep going because I know that's what I'm supposed to do.
Or is he running out of Polyjuice potion?
Yeah, that's exactly right. No, I think that, everything that's being said is absolutely right. And, you know, the challenge, like with the police especially, is you have no idea where they just came from. They could have come from a very heightened, intense situation, and now they're coming into another, and they don't have time to even turn down. Granted, they're not given the same kind of education as say a social worker or somebody who is good at negotiating, because really what you're talking about here is negotiating skills. And a negotiator, you know, a talented, trained negotiator is amazing at being able to establish a rapport very quickly. And Brian and I have talked about in the past, sometimes you have to go to that level of intensity of the person that you're talking with in order to be able to move that person in a direction. If you come at somebody who's in a very heightened, intense state, like I want to take my life, and you come at them from a very intense, but with a different intent behind it, that doesn't work. If you come at them with something that is too condescending, that's not going to work. You actually need to kind of get into where they're at from a headspace perspective, and then guide them down.
I wish, if I could make one wish, it would be that every single person freaking understood that, because my official diagnosis was borderline personality disorder. So I dealt with what's called splitting. And that's when a person that previously could have been your best friend, could have been, you know, somebody that you admire and look up to, they do something to upset you, and suddenly they're the villain. Like suddenly this person is bad. Now, when you're in that place, when I split, or I would get in that very, very heightened, intense place, there's no way you can rationalize with me. There's no way that you can debate me or argue me. And if you get aggressive, I'll get violent. And fortunately, I've learned to deal with that and manage that mostly now. But it was really scary, because it's not me being a hateful, mean person. It's that I had this disorder that was an emotional dysregulation disorder I didn't know how to cope with, and I would lose control. So if you had come to me and said something aggressive, irritable, nasty, hateful, why the hell aren't you appreciating your life? This is stupid. Anything at all, I could have lost my shit and become violent at you. And I mean, if you look at me, I am not a violent person at all. I'm probably the least violent person ever, but I just lose control. And that's really unfortunate, because like you said, these people aren't trained. They might be coming out of a traumatic situation themselves. So problem number one right there, we don't have emotional support for the police officers that are seeing traumatic shit every day. Like they're being traumatized every day. We're not looking at them and their mental health and saying, hey, maybe they need someone to talk to, a mental health support. Number two, like Brandon was saying, is we don't have, well, some places are now implementing task forces specifically for mental health situations. So that way, you know, the cops can deal with the violent crimes and this task force can deal with the more mental health based ones. That way, these people are getting more targeted care, and, you know, the cops are being able to deal with the actual crimes and not just someone who's having a mental health crisis and needs very different care than what a police officer is going to offer. Because a police officer, I like Son of the Sea said, because I pictured if she ended up in an emergency situation, referring to the cop she was talking about, that could have ended tragic. Yeah, that's what scares me, is if a cop is saying these kinds of things to someone who, or is being aggressive to someone who's in that situation, they could jump, they could pull the trigger, they could, you know, they could lose their battle because someone said the wrong thing. And that doesn't make that person a weak person. You fight for as long as you can.
Correct.
I mean, I was going to say real quick to add upon what Brett and Amanda said. I think, at least in the bigger cities, in probably the next 5 years, I think it will change over from more of a task force to where it's a specialty, like a detective, to where you're seeing police officers on the receiving end of phone calls as well as the ones who go take the calls, where people are going to get paid maybe slightly more and have to go to some schooling and get some certificates to where their focus is mental health cases. To where they have the double the duty, where they are a police officer in uniform, but also that their unit strictly is taking in those calls to de-escalate from 911 phone calls, or they're de-escalating in person, to where, because I know a lot of caseworkers and their job, a lot of people don't know, is already extremely dangerous. It's just in a very different, more deviant, sneaky way than a police officer. But you know, you have a lot of these young college girls. They're going into prisons. They're going into bad neighborhoods. They're telling people that they're taking their kids. You know, like their names can't be on the internet, like all that stuff, like just because of the risk they're at. Let alone dealing with somebody with a mental health issue. And obviously they want to see that person be either arrested and not harmed, or walked off the ledge and being able to go into their home with no arrest. But still, it could be a violent situation. So I think over time, as we get more educated and start caring more about those people, police forces will start engaging, I hope, correctly. And if anything, it wouldn't be defunding, it would be funding them a little more to handle mental health cases properly. At least in major cities, I think that would be something good to see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, agreed. I know that there's some Canadian cities that have done it, that not only are implementing these task forces, but they have a special part of their emergency department that handles mental health crises. Because I don't know if any of y'all have ever been hospitalized for a mental health crisis, but it's freaking hell. When my mom died, I had a complete and utter mental breakdown right in the middle of the cardiac care unit and said, I feel like I have nothing left to live for. I'm just bawling on the floor. They took me down to the ER because they said that I was suicidal because I said the words, I feel like I have nothing left to live for, as they're physically pulling me away from my mother's body. I said, I feel like I have nothing left to live for. They put me in the ER and tried to put me in a 72-hour hold at a psych ward. And when I asked the nurse, I just said, I really just need someone to talk to right now. She said, we're busy with actual emergencies. So there was nobody there for me to talk. My mom literally just died minutes before this. It was like the only thing I had left in the world. I was in a city where I knew nobody. It was kind of really late at night. So my friends back home in Missouri weren't up and about. I had nobody in the world. I was literally all alone. And I'm just very, meekly in my panic state asking this woman, can you just send in a counselor or somebody for me to talk to? And she's just saying, we have real emergencies. But they're putting me there because they thought I was a harm to myself. So they're trying to keep me safe, but they're really not trying to help me psychologically. They're just trying to make sure I don't kill myself on their watch. So there are places, Canada specifically, I know, has been implementing special wards at the ER for mental health, where they have people that can directly aid those that are in mental health crisis, instead of just putting them in a bed and saying, don't kill yourself. Because unfortunately, a lot of people did. They were having quite a few cases of people that were being held on the 72-hour holds or whatever, and that were losing their life to suicide, because they're shoving them in a room by themselves and saying, well, don't kill yourself.
Actually, I've been in a 72-hour hold, and mine was kind of the same scenario, but yours has your mom thing. Mine was I was dealing with just family shit and life shit, and it hit a point where it was a big issue, but all I said is I don't want to keep going. I just feel like I need to stop. And because of that, I literally went not even a block in an ambulance, because they had to take me in an ambulance to a mental health ward just to be able to start getting help. And I'm like, I could have walked here, but they left me there.
And I'm healthy, as Brett was saying.
It's probably been fine after walking too.
Right? I would have been healthier to walk there. But at the end of the day, if you've never been involved in that, being in those is a completely different world. It hurts. It's scary. It is. And then because you're in there, you get a stereotype about you right away by everybody in there. And you're sitting there going, I just feel broken. And all of us go through this. Why can't I have somebody to talk to? You go home, and because you have more money than me, you can go to a hotel or something and just cry and buy a hooker. No, I don't want that. I want to be able to I'm seriously kidding to make a joke, but you need to be able to have that outlet, because otherwise people really do go into a darker place, and they find ways to fill that void, from drinking to gambling to drugs to sex. And everybody finds a way out to cover up their wounds, and actually healing is what the process needs to be done, not just a pass off. And that's just my opinion. But I want to ask you, when you're going through this, for me, I've heard it many times from my dad. Oh, suicide's a cop-out. It's the easy way out. You don't think of what you're going to do to everybody else. That's my father talking to me, and I love him to death, and he really does love me. It's just his mentality. How do you help people to know? Two parts, I guess. One is, how do you help people to know, you're going to be okay and not to listen to that person, know that you have to hear yourself. And like, I can keep going, because those words hurt, especially when they come from someone very powerful, like a father figure. So how would you recommend helping people when they hear those words and they're already in a dark place?
Like I said before, it's not about saying you're going to be okay. That comes after the validating the pain that they're already feeling, really giving them a space to talk about what they're feeling. And this isn't a therapist's office where you're going to say, how does that make you feel? Just giving them the space to get out whatever they need to get out, and telling them, I say that my mission is to make sure that every single person I come in contact with knows that I see them and I hear them, and that I value them. If every single person I come across knows on some level that they are not invisible, then my mission is complete. But really, it's really sharing your own, struggles, normalizing it for them. That's why I do what I do on my YouTube channel, where I, talk about my own mental health struggles, and I interview celebrities to talk about theirs, because there's such a stigma around it that it's not that your dad's a bad person. It's just that he didn't know. That's the mindset that we're given as a society, is suicide's the cowardly way out. But like I said, I was thinking about my son, and I would even almost implore you to say, I know that you feel like this is what's best for other people right now. I know that that's what that voice in the head is telling you. But to quote Linkin Park, who cares if one more light goes out? I do. I care if your light goes out. I see you. I see your pain, and I can help you through it. Not you're going to be okay. I'm here to help you be okay. Because saying you're going to be okay, that's just kind of empty, And had somebody told me, well, people did try to tell me, you're going to be fine, you're okay. That doesn't register in my head when I'm in that dark place. I can't see that. But if you say, I'm going to help you get through this, I'm going to be there for you. Whether you need, whether it's, I'm gonna be there for you to call, I'm gonna be there to take you to an appointment, I'm gonna be there to, buy you a gym membership, like whatever the case is, offer what you can, or what you can and are willing to give, but don't just tell them that everything is gonna be okay. And for the love of Christ, don't tell them that suicide's selfish, because every single person that is at that point is doing it because they think it's what's best for other people, because they don't want to be a burden anymore.
Real quick,
mic drop.
Something that I noticed with a lot of people with mental health issues is they are more self-aware than the average person with their feelings. I think that plays a big role. Number two, they generally have the biggest and kindest hearts of more than most people, quite a bit. And a problem with the world, I think, as a whole, is not only our view on mental health, because it's not just the United States, Canada, like first world countries, it's the entire world is just so far behind on it, is not enough people understand what empathy is and what it really means. It's a word you hear a lot since 2019, I would say, with the rise of mental health issues and anxiety and depression. You hear a lot about empathy, but I feel like the world just doesn't understand and recognize what it really means. And it's kind of like you just said, oh, you'll be okay. Well, that's not taking time to have empathy. You didn't even ask what have they been going through. I mean, even crappy friends ask you that once a year, so that's better than you're going to be okay. And it's kind of like you said as well, Brandon, your dad loves you, but then he states, well, that's a cop-out. Well, no, a cop-out is you not taking any time to actually ask how your son's doing. I'm glad you love me, and we all love differently, but shouldn't you at least ask, like, why do you feel that way? What's going on? It's just those little extra steps, and it takes the same amount of time for me to say it on this podcast as it does to a person standing in front of me. It's not taking up my whole day. It's not ruining my day. If anything, it's going to bring some satisfaction to my day, knowing like, hey, I helped maybe a random stranger, family member, close friend. I took 5 minutes listening to them. They feel better, at least in that moment. I can't cure them. I'm not a God. I'm not a doctor, but I can ask them what they're doing.
I remember.
Sure? I'm pretty sure. I would have been a little taller. I'm only 5'7.5", and I haven't been able to fly yet. So maybe it's just not activated, but I don't know.
I don't think you've jumped from a high enough spot.
I seen.
Don't
Hook.
say that,
Brandon. I seen Hook, and I'm just looking for that fairy dust. Try it out.
I was gonna say, if you sprout rings right now, dude, I'm gonna shit bricks.
If I saw wings right now, I'm like, guys, have a good one. I'm out. I'm gonna enjoy it until they fall off.
I'm gonna be like, guys, make this go viral. I can't do that again.
You know what?
Right.
I would fly Brandon's window and just give him one of these and keep going.
I really need a fuck Joe in my life. Someone to just say, you know what, put the fucking cookie down, Amanda. You know what? Here's what you need to do right now. I always said sometimes, you just need that person to say, here's what you need to do right now.
And you can't rely on them for everything, because I
No.
really annoyed Joe when I text him 15 times an hour. Joe, do I go pee or do I hold it?
No, Brandon.
I feel like people have that misconception about therapists or life coaches or friends that they think, and this is actually one of the biggest problems I had of what kept me stuck in the depression. So I'm kind of glad this came up. Is when I was on the ledge and I said, I feel like I've tried everything and I don't know what to do. What did I try? I tried going to a therapist, taking medication, reaching out to friends, reading books, et cetera, et cetera. The one thing there was I hadn't taken my own power. I hadn't said, what can I do to improve my mental health? What can I do to make sure that I'm living a lifestyle conducive to mental health? I wasn't doing that. I was going, somebody please fix me because I'm fucking broken and I don't know what to do. When it was really, there's so much that I can do for myself, and maybe that will heal you and maybe it won't, but it's certainly not going to hurt. Those 5 puzzle pieces of happiness, they're going to bring you higher on your own happiness spectrum and closer to optimal mental health, even if you still need a little bit more in the end. I mean, some people do need medication. I know that didn't work for me, but I know that some people do need that. But there's always that foundation there of these are the puzzle pieces that need to be in place if you're going to have optimal mental health. Because I hate how the system starts with medication. The only time the system should start with medication is when you're literally on that ledge going, I'm fucking suicidal right now. And if there needs to be emergency intervention, then sure, maybe there needs to be medication in that moment. But otherwise, if a person's struggling with mild to moderate depression, it should be, let's work on our lifestyle. And then if you still need medication, let's go toward that route. But it shouldn't be the first right. line of defense,
I agree 100%. So how are you have your son, and how are you holding up now and being able to be doing everything? Like, obviously well, but like, what are you doing to keep Amanda smiling every day, even though not every day you're going to smile? Well, you will, but you know what I mean.
It's interesting. Don't play. It's interesting because right now I'm going through a really difficult life situation. My best friend broke up with me. This was a person that I trusted, one of the 2 people in the world I genuinely trusted, I loved with all my heart, and they just decided they couldn't be part of my life anymore. And that's been a really challenging thing to deal with. But there's a couple things that are really helpful to me. One is having something to look forward to, putting something on the books to look forward to. Next week is going to be my birthday. Anyone that's wanting to come say hi, it's going to be my birthday, and I'm going to see a friend. I'm going up to the mountains. One of my friends is coming in from Missouri. She got a cabin, so we're going to have dinner and, just hang out and stuff. And I I found out, so I was supposed to last year meet Tom Ellis from Lucifer. And I had a friend who his gift to me was he had got Tom Ellis to say happy birthday to me. Now, I will tell you, man, I was having the shittiest day ever yesterday because I was really struggling with this friend situation that I've been going through. And I get this happy birthday, here's your birthday present. I open it and it was Tom Welling, the girl that plays Ella. I can never remember her name, but she's so adorable. I love her. She plays the lab tech on Lucifer, and she's also on Dexter, and I can't remember her name for the life of me. Somebody help me out here in the comments. But her, and then it ended with Tom Ellis saying happy birthday and blowing me a kiss. And I ended up finding out that the convention that I was supposed to go to meet him got rescheduled for 2022. So now I'm sitting there going, okay, shit sucks right now, and this hurts immensely, and I don't know. Thank you, Amy Garcia. Yes. And I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but I have something that I can look forward to, and I know that I will get through it. It's not gonna be comfortable. It's not gonna be easy. It sucks. I cried. I'm just gonna tell all y'all, I have been so happy the last couple of years. I found this mental health that I didn't even know was possible. Where I'm not having the symptoms of depression. I'm not having. I got decertified as having an SMI in the middle of a global pandemic, mind you, which means serious mental illness. But you know what I did? I laid on my closet floor and sobbed my freaking eyes out yesterday because I hurt because I'm human and I'm going through a human experience. And it is 100% okay to just own that you're feeling like crap. Like she was asking earlier, what does it mean when I feel ugly and unhappy? It means you're human, and sometimes we don't feel good. We have this gambit of emotions, and as much as I don't even want to say American society, much as society in general says, you know what, you have this emotion and you need to take this pill and make it go away because those are the emotions you're not supposed to feel. That's ridiculous. We are humans that experience a wide variety of emotions, and we hurt, and having something to look forward to is my number one suggestion to anyone, especially in the pandemic. It can kind of seem like life's getting monotonous, and maybe you'll come meet Tom Ellis with me next year. I think it's in Jersey where the event's going to be. And, maybe it's something that big. Maybe it's just, I'm going to take myself out to dinner, or I'm going to order my favorite food, or I'm going to watch a movie on this night, or this is going to be the day that I just sit and play my favorite game, or whatever it is, just have something to look forward to.
What's your thing you're looking forward to this evening?
This evening, I am going to make fajitas for dinner, and that's kind of my favorite. My favorite go-to meal. I will mail you a vegan fajita. How's that? It'll probably be disgusting by the time it gets there, but I knew that I needed, that little extra boost of comfort. So I'm going to do that. And I'm probably going to go rollerblading after dinner and just take some time for me. I just did an interview with Matthew Santoro, who is a huge YouTuber. I love him to death, but he had a mental health situation as well. And him and I did an interview last week. So I'm going to be editing that, which I've been trying to talk to him for 8 months. So I was pretty proud of that. And I was pretty excited when I got it. So I know watching it is really going to, kind of make me feel that feeling again, take me back to that giddiness of I got this and I went after it and I chased it and I got it. And we shared this story and we were laughing about, in the back of the video. So when y'all watch this, when it comes out on my YouTube channel, in the back of the video, there is a Majora's Mask leaning against the wall. And before we started filming, I log in and I'm really nervous because I'm always nervous for the first minute or so. And I just look and I go, is that Majora's Mask on the ground? Funny enough, I have the exact same one from the exact same Etsy seller, which is just so weird, right? We just have the same Majora's Mask, but I'm just sitting there going, did we just become best friends? Because I think we just became best friends. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to editing that, eating my fajitas and going rollerblading.
I love it. So something we do as our final goodbye is we leave an impact. We tell everybody, how do you want to leave your impact on the world? And we let the guests go last. And that's been something we've been doing for a while now. I'll make this easy. Joe has the same thing every time. So I've turned it into this. And that way it's just scrolling across the bottom. So I don't even have to have him talk anymore because he says the same thing. And he's like, I'm going to say the same thing. So I did it easy for everybody. Brett, I will go next. And then Brett will go. And then Amanda will go. And it's how we want to leave. Same thing as we do on the Morning Brew is you leaving the guests with positive affirmations. This is leaving everybody with how you're going to leave your impact. You ready?
Ready.
Here we go. So, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. This was the H, an honest conversation about health, hemp, and happiness. We have all been through a long year. Remember to turn around and love the people that are closest to you, but also reach out to that friend that maybe would it mean the world to them just to say hello. Take some time to love, appreciate, and care for those around you. And give a verbal hug. Thank you guys for tuning in. Brett.
Hi, well, I'm Brett Gordon, and my company's businesses are people too, and really it's about bringing life, leadership, and legacy together in order to be able to recognize that, we're all here on Earth to actually leave, whatever we do on Earth, we're going to leave something behind. So leave the best that you possibly can. Recognize that most of our challenges that we run into are when we start to really generalize things that have happened to us. And we say that an event, say you're crying because you're depressed. That doesn't make you a depressed person. That just means you had a depressed event. And if you can keep from bringing that event into a generalization that, oh, I made a mistake becomes I'm an idiot and I'm that's me for life. No, you had a mistake. We all make mistakes. We all hurt. It's a matter of avoiding that generalization where we say that this is who we are versus this is an event that I had. Thank you.
Amanda.
My dad, one of the last things he told me before he passed away was, don't give up hope because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And at the time, he was trying to comfort his lovelorn teenage daughter because I just got out of a breakup, and he was trying to, without saying you guys are going to get back together, saying, well, you could, because that's what I wanted to hear, right? And I think that even if right now you don't know how you're going to do it, you don't know if you even want to, just understanding that you can, that there can be another side, just maybe. Because I often tell my son, he says, I don't understand this French word. I don't understand this math concept. I can't do this physical activity. And I say, okay, there's one word. And I'll ask my son, what's the magic word? For most parents, it's please. For me, it's yet. The magic word is yet. I can't do this yet. I don't know how to get out of depression yet. I don't know how to smile in the morning yet. I don't know how to live a healthy lifestyle yet. But if you have that hope and you know that you can get to that point, you know that it's a possibility. That's all it takes, is just knowing that it's a possibility, even if it feels impossible. I think the really important thing, like I said, my mission is just shattering the mental health stigma. That's what my YouTube channel is all about. YouTube.com/Amanda Webster Health is all about just shattering the mental health stigma, encouraging people to share their mental health stories so we can have a community where we know this is freaking normal. It's normal to go through whether a patch or maybe a long patch, or maybe just a day of mental health struggles. It's totally normal, whether you're Billy Bob Thornton or Joe Schmo. It's normal for us to experience these things. And once we all accept that, once we all have that conversation, like we were saying, with each other, that's when we start moving forward. So I just want to shatter the mental health stigma. I just want to leave the world a better place than I found it.
I love it. I love it. I'm grabbing your YouTube thing and coming back. That way everybody doesn't worry. I've got it going into the comments right now. Everybody go give her a subscribe. I made sure I almost started watching one of the videos because it
it autoplays, yeah.
Like you're the one, like you're like, I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of intimidated there. So,
it's so funny that it does Tigris 81 because that hasn't been, it works, but that hasn't actually been my YouTube URL in so long, but it still shows that sometimes. I think that's funny.
I saw it and I'm like, that's not hers. It took me a second to go back around. I'm like, I don't want to put the wrong one, it's
funny.
It's just good. But Amanda, you have been an amazing interview. You have been wonderful to be able to have on. Ladies and gentlemen, go give her a subscribe. Amanda, thank you for being a mental health advocate and pushing very strongly towards making sure people are going to get the best them. It's been an honor to talk to you again today. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy yourself. I got one last thing. Have you seen the Netflix movie Yes Day?
No, but my friend was just telling me about that the other day because I was really big on the movie Yes Man. When I watched Yes Man, I watched it once and I was really in a bad place, and I watched it again. But the third time I watched it was just before my 30th birthday when I went into this whole, oh my God, I'm turning 30 and I haven't done any things I want to do. And I just kind of panicked. And I watched that movie and went, well, shit. And then I ended up in 1 year, in 1 year, I went to London, Paris, Rome, Iceland, Mexico, New York, and just like a couple other places. I just started, and I went on a 10-day California trip with my son, and we went camping, and I met Joey Fatone, and I ended up going back and meeting all 5 of NSYNC, and started all these projects that I wanted to start. And then I went, okay, now I'm fine. But it gave me, purpose and reason and passion. And maybe it didn't pull me out of the depression at the time, but at least it gave me something. One of my strengths. It turned out to be one of my strengths because I just went, thank you, Son of the Sea. It just made me go, you know what? I might not have everything and things might hurt right now, but here's some of the things I do have. Here's some of the strengths that I do have. I have the strength to freaking say yes.
I love it. Guys, go give her Amanda a follow. Amanda, I look forward to reconnecting with you again very soon. I'm glad you're doing well. Keep being the inspiration that you are and never change. Guys, this was The H, an honest conversation about health, hemp, and happiness, sponsored by Delight Cafe. Don't forget, fuck Joe.